said, oh, Beto remembers you, Didi. And I said, yeah. I said, he's coming to Eagle Pass. And she's like, he's coming. Tell him I said hi. I said, I will, you know. And she still remembers. And I said, oh, are you kidding? And then she gets all, I said, Beto asked about you. How's Didi doing? Is she moving to Texas? One time he said that. What? He remembers. But listen, this is Mari Carmen Perales. She's one of my precinct chairs. She's precinct 3 chair, and she's an amazing community worker. My God, this woman has been involved in everything, and the reason we came to this family is because she's been helping this family. And you know, it's not your typical, you know, neighborhood family that's in need. But let me tell you, these people have been through so much with them. So much, and the hardest part was that the father is in bed. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Mari Carmen.
Mari Carmen, thank you so much for what you're doing right now.
And before I go on to, I just want to say thank you for everything you're doing.
Yes.
Sadly, I lost my dad last year in July.
He was our sergeant at arms, Beto, and he died of COVID.
I'm so
He
sorry.
was our sergeant at arms.
You couldn't be there because they weren't letting in visitors.
As a matter of fact, I was just to this morning. I had a very hard morning, and you know, and I was like, I was feeling terrible, and I said, send me something, give me a message about Dad. And here I am in front of you. And my dad was the biggest fan of yours.
That's a big fan.
I'm so sorry that you lost him.
He was our sergeant at arms, and he kept us in line at the meetings.
So he was a dedicated to public service. So are we all, his family. Since we were very little. But so when we went through all this mess to his family, they're my neighbors, and when I was here, we were nobody had water or electricity. So what we did, her daughter, she's not here right now, she's at work, but she came up and she was literally like, what do I do? She was crying. Their dad is in bed, cannot move, a man 6'3", 5 days with 5 covers.
Because there was no power for 5 days.
No power at all. They did not have access to hot water. All their pipes broke. It's 3 families.
And they've only repaired some of them.
Yes,
because they haven't been able to repair all of them because Lowe's ran out of supplies. So even if you could get a plumber, they couldn't get the supplies to fix the pipes. So what they did, and she wants to show you, the lady wants to show you.
Yeah.
They just kind of started some of the, to be able to get some water into the house.
But now she's ill because of the result of no water.
Oh.
She carries her husband. She can barely walk. I mean, like she has a lot of problems.
She no habla inglés, pero mira,
Me llamo
Beto habla español.
Mucho gusto.
No,
Gracias por recibirnos aquí en su casa.
Estamos contando de su historia.
Sí, que las tuberías, ahorita no tengo la lavadora porque se reventaron las pipas de afuera y el peso de la nieve como que hundió el techo de atrás. Se levantaron las cosas, todo roto, ¿verdad? Y ya vinieron a arreglar, pero nomás momentáneamente.
¿Tiene agua para tomar o beber o no? ¿En botella?
En botella, sí, pero cuando hay.
Still don't have running water.
Sí.
Porque tenemos un caso aquí de agua. Okay. Antes que vamos a dejar el agua aquí con usted. Sí.
Muchas gracias.
Y por 5 días no tenía luz.
Ni luz ni agua. Y luego todos tuvieron luz y todos tuvieron agua y yo todavía le seguí con el agua porque estaba reventado todo.
Y su esposo
está enfermo, está enfermo.
Quisiera conocerlo.
Sí,
Can you explain what's happening?
So we were just hearing, is this Mrs. Gonzalez?
Yes.
From Mrs. Gonzalez
González, ¿verdad, Marica?
that lost power for 5 days, lost water, still don't have water through much of the house. Their pipes burst and they made some small repairs in some parts of the pipes, but not all of them. So they have a little bit of water, but they can't run the washing machine. They don't have fresh drinking water. I asked her if she had bottled water. She said, actually, we don't have enough. And so thanks to the purchase that Cynthia made in Robstown of cases of water from HEB there, we actually have a case that we're going to leave with the Gonzalez family, or 2 if they need it. And her husband, who's 6'3" and really unable to leave his bed right now because of injuries or illness that he has. it just makes it that much harder for her to take care of him. So those are some things that we just learned about from
Because
Mrs. Gonzalez.
even when if she could have just gone to stay with another family, which is what we did. I mean, we didn't have light for 4 days, no water, nothing. We went to stay with my daughter, who luckily did not lose electricity. She didn't have water, but at least it was warm. So we went to stay with her. But in their case, how could they? Because the father is bedridden.
Okay.
And we're just lucky he survived. We're
Yeah.
just lucky he survived there.
And
but he survived.
last thing
That's
before we
something
walk in, where is Eagle Pass? Folks want to know.
So Eagle Pass is, we've been in the Valley, we've been in Laredo. Eagle Pass is another community on the border, the Mexican, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful community. In fact, Juanita, who we're talking with right now, many years ago when we were traveling the state, she was our ambassador into Eagle Pass and helped us to understand
to
the
this
community.
day, the
Yes,
ambassador.
and helped us to meet amazing people. And when we were reaching out to people that we knew across the state, tell us how you're doing, tell us how your family, how your neighbors are doing. Juanita said, well, if you want to come to Eagle Pass, I'd love to introduce you to a family that has really struggled in the midst of this. And that's, we talk about the fact that yesterday at the legislative hearing in Texas, they took testimony from energy executives, they took testimony from regulators, they took testimony from the quote-unquote experts. They didn't take any testimony from the Gonzalez family or anybody who was affected by this at all. And so we have a chance through Facebook Live to take that testimony from people so that you can see it. And I hope so that our state legislators and governor and government and the Public Utility Commission can see just what happened to people due to the negligence. And let's see if in fact there might have been some criminal activity, but for what they did and failed to do, this is what happened. We're about to learn about this family here in Eagle Pass.
Exactly. And you know the bad thing is, and thank you, because you're giving voice to the forgotten people, to the people that they don't think about. My neighbors also, we all struggled through this, and it didn't have to happen.
No.
It did not have to happen. So it's just pathetic what happened. And Beto, I want to thank you for coming back to Eagle Pass. I do still remember the first time we met you, Didi and I met you in Del Rio. My daughter, who, has never really been involved in a political campaign, was like, oh my gosh, Mom, you have to be involved in this campaign. I said, yes, I am. So, and you promised me you were going to come to Maverick County, and you did.
I promised her because
now-
she made me promise. Like she was not going to let me
I
go in
forced
Del
her.
Rio. And she said, you will come down to Maverick. I said, yes, ma'am, I will come down to Maverick. And we did.
And it was a beautiful event.
It really was.
Oh my gosh, we had close to 1,000 people, which doesn't happen in Maverick. And it was amazing. And to this day, people are impacted by you, Beto. You inspired Maverick County.
Oh, thank you.
So
Well, it's mutual.
I'm so glad that you came.
Of course.
I'm so
Of
glad
course.
that
Well,
you came.
let's see the Gonzalez family. Thank you again for introducing us to them.
Oh, yes, and you know what? There's a lot of, results of all this. Right now, I have to take off work because my mom had an emergency. So I had to come somewhere dashing to her house. Yes, a lot of illnesses. She's 81 years old, so I had to. And then, just come here and then with them. So, él es Beto, amor. That's her, es su esposo.
No está enfermo de nada, más que de azúcar, no se levanta.
Siento que perdieron agua y electricidad y espero que podamos ayudar. Vamos a dejar agua aquí con ustedes, pero también queremos compartir su historia para que la gente que tiene el poder pueden ayudar a ustedes. Gracias, señor. Gracias.
Quiero que traigas ese jinete puesto en tu costado.
¿Hay algo que podemos hacer en el momento?
Esa pequeña cadena de abierto. Porque una vez que Máximo Salamanca pone los ojos en alguien, ahora están en su vida.
Tenemos muchas necesidades.
Sí.
¿Qué necesidad tiene? O sea, como más que nada, ¿qué le urge?
Ahorita la lavadora,
I fixed the pipes.
todo está bien malo, la tubería y todo está malísimo, todo.
Sí.
está momentáneamente sellado, pero allá están los agujeros y todo, se cortaron todo nomás para que pudiera tener agua, pero no está dando agua para el servicio de afuera ni la lavadora. ¿La pueden pasar?
Señor, ¿cuántos años tiene ustedes aquí en esta casa, en este hogar?
2 años.
2 años. ¿Y antes de esta casa, otra parte de Eagle Pass?
Sí,
O...
en 10 años en 1006 la Colonia Drive.
¿Y ustedes son renteros aquí o los dueños de la
Sí,
casa?
no, está de mi hija la casa.
Ok. ¿Y fue afectados los otros casas en esta parte de comunidad
Sí,
en la misma manera?
sí, de la misma manera.
Okay. Yeah, so you're telling us that all the houses lost power, lost water, had disruptions with their piping, and you know it's hard for folks, but especially this family with their husband really unable to leave the house. She's unable to wash clothes or even just have fresh water to help to take care of him. So that's a big part of the challenge. Pues mucho gusto conocerle y si hay algo que podemos hacer, vamos a dejar nuestro número de teléfono, vamos a dejar agua también y vamos a llamar más tarde para saber si hay algo más que podemos hacer y vamos a compartir su historia también con su representante estatal y otros que pueden ayudar a ustedes. Y gracias por su tiempo y la oportunidad de conocerle. Gracias, Señor.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Adiós. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos. Suerte.
Que Dios los bendiga. Ok.
Igualmente. Sure. Podemos ver los videos.
Lo que se dañó bastante fue que no tiene todo eso, los escalones, el agua, la nieve, todo eso. Y ahí está agujerada toda la pared, porque ahí pusieron tapones, así que si gusta pasar, clávase, para que vean.
Y podemos ver los tubos también
Sí.
quebrados.
Sí.
Todos.
Pues todo esto, ¿verdad? Sí, sí. Fue por el agua. Se levantó todo.
Ah.
Pero mira, ¿cómo que ahí para que veas nos taponearon todo? La pared esta, ¿no?
Aquí
Sí.
quebraron aquí.
Para poder taponear y no tengo la lavadora de ahí ni el baño.
¿Y qué necesitamos? ¿Partes y alguien para arreglarlo?
Sí, algo para arreglarlo, sí.
So just the parts and then actually having a plumber and somebody who can come in and fix this. And I'm imagining as we're hearing and seeing in a lot of places, they're just, I think Mari Carmen was telling us that at the Lowe's, there aren't, were you telling us that at the Lowe's there just aren't any more supplies?
Well,
Why?
she was telling us that they checked, but there's no supplies, and also she's been trying to contact plumbers, but there's none available yet.
Yeah, and so we're seeing this problem all over the state of Texas, and we know that there are some of you who are trying to help out. In fact, somebody reached out to us, and Cynthia's been talking with him about getting a big shipment of plumbing supplies into Texas. And then we have other folks like Jenna Royal who are trying to get a database of all plumbers available. And then there's some out of state who've reached out and said, hey, I want to come to Texas and help out. If you do come to Texas and you can come to the border, communities like Eagle Pass and the Gonzalez family here, we can put you in touch with, could sure use your help, because for the time being, until they get parts, until they get a plumber, they're not going to have running water in this house for most of their needs. And certainly they don't have drinking water right now in their house.
And they can't relocate like other families because of the dad that's bedridden, the father
Yes, a
that's
little bit
bedridden.
harder for them. So we've learned about a lot of families who are able to stay with their daughter or their folks, or with a neighbor or a friend. But as we saw in Mr. Gonzalez's case, it's very hard for him to move and to leave the house. And I think that's part of the reason that we're here, to make sure that we understand. As many of you have reminded us, there are those who for medical conditions or medical complexity, really depend on water and power, and it's more than an inconvenience to lose both of them. It is an extra hardship, and it can also be life-threatening. And I think that's something that we need to make sure that we all remember. Okay, Con, I'm going to follow you through the orange grove. Gracias. Are you in school right now? Are you doing distance learning or in person? In person. And what grade, if you don't mind me asking? Which one? Third grade. My son is in fourth grade. So you're just one above you right now. Yeah. How do you like it? It's all right? And did you just go back to in-person learning, or were you in school all along? Or did you do some through computers and through Zoom?
Right now I'm doing on the computer.
You're doing it in computers right now? Okay. Do you know when you'll go back to school full-time? Is it before the end of the year, or will you do the rest of the year on computers?
On the computer.
On the computers. That might happen where we are in El Paso too. Yeah. And do you also live here?
Yes.
Okay. Has it been hard without water? I bet. Yeah. And hard without electricity. And are you also helping to take care of your? Is this your grandfather? Are you helping to take care of him?
Yes.
Thank you for doing that. And I know that your grandmother appreciates it, and I bet he appreciates it too. Yeah. We're sorry that you went through this, and we wanted to come to make sure that people know that it's happened and to see how we can help. And we'll leave our contact information too, so if your grandparents want to get in touch with us, they can. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, hang in there, all right? Nice to meet you. All right.
Thank you.
Yo, thank you.
The first time that Beto was like, now look at the times we're living.
I know.
And we don't know why. We don't know why we got like this. Everybody knows, para que se hacen. I mean, everybody knows why we're going through this.
¿Dónde?
Qué bueno que Beto is reaching out to the people, you know, is coming out, and because that's who Beto is. People have to know that's who Beto is.
So if
Así
people,
es Beto. That's why when he came to Maverick, that time, there had not been a senatorial candidate that had come to Maverick since the 60s, according to a politician. When he came to Eagle Pass, we had not had a senatorial candidate come to Maverick since the 60s.
Well, they were missing out.
and if folks want to help with,
Yeah, so
What's happening?
Juanita, we wanted to ask you, what if there's an agency, whether it's a food pantry or a food bank,
Yes, Eli.
Good Samaritans,
Eli Ben-
or
Yes, because Eli was telling me about that center that you were talking about. That's right there on the corner of South Bib. ¿Cómo se llama? What's the name of that one?
It's the Center for Hope. It's a shelter actually. It's right behind HEB in Eagle Pass, Texas. A lot of the immigrants that get released, it's one big room. It's an old church, and there's a deep freezer at the front door. You don't have to RSVP or anything. You just show up. If you're looking for shelter, you can show up there. If you're willing to donate, there's deep freezers right by the front door, and it's usually empty, with a room full of men, women, and children looking for help. So
that's the Center for Hope?
The Center for Hope.
Okay, so you all may have to Google this unless you know the website. So Google it. It's the Center for Hope in Eagle Pass, and it sounds like it's a no questions asked shelter, and also a place where people can come for food. What do you say? 'Cause you mentioned the deep freezer.
Donate food.
And to donate food, which is really, if you live in Eagle Pass, it's a great place to donate food. If you don't live in Eagle Pass and you want to help out, and you know this family still has a roof over their head even if they don't have water. Some families have neither, and so if you want to help those who are in the shelter, it's the Center for Hope.
Yes, well, it's behind Eagle Pass, Texas. Eagle HEB.
It's behind the HEB in
Mission
Eagle
Border
Pass.
Hope. Mission Border Hope.
Okay, it's called Mission Border Hope. Mission Border Hope.
okay.
And Kano and or Kate or someone from our team will put that up.
Mission Border Hope.
Mission Border
Yep,
Hope.
Kate posted the link,
Oh, Kate
and
is
so
fast.
she's on it. And
Kate is fast.
Juanita, Kate says hi to tell you she said to tell you hi.
Yeah, I talked to Kay.
Yes.
I talked to her.
Oh, thank
Yeah, I gave her an earful. I I said, yes, I'm the Beto ambassador here in Maverick.
One of the best.
Also,
Yeah.
remember we used to have a Metro headquarters.
That's right.
The newspaper people came to see our Metro headquarters. It was a tiny thing, but it was donated. It was donated. I remember, man, we have good memories.
Well, and the fact that you reached out to us after this happened to introduce us to people who
Definitely.
need help, that's
Definitely.
something we so appreciate, and it's very much in keeping, Juanita, with your spirit and with your desire to help
Yes.
people. And
She's
so,
been keeping us
And
updated
we're working
since.
hard. We're working hard here in Maverick because
Yeah.
even though now we're what, like 80-something% Democrat.
We're up in the air. This last election really threw us for a loop.
Yeah.
But we're really prioritizing what it means to be on the border when it comes to our health resources. I'm a registered nurse here in Eagle Pass. And
He works at
Eli's
the
a
EOC.
registered nurse.
He works
Is
at
that
the
the
EOC.
Emergency Operations Center?
Oh, wow.
I work with the Operations Center. I also work at Stat ER. I'm a COVID specialist for the city and the county.
Tell us about
Wow.
vaccination here in
Yeah.
Maverick County.
So we actually tomorrow are going to give our second round of second doses. So we actually haven't even fully vaccinated 1% of the community, and yet right now people
You haven't vaccinated 1% of the community?
not even 1% of the community.
Whoa.
We've only done 1,200 people fully vaccinated. Somewhere around 1,200 people have gotten both doses. Other than that, we don't have protection.
Yeah.
So people are getting lax. You know, our culture, as you've seen in this house, houses here house several generations. And we like to be around each other. So it's been really difficult to quickly, for the sake of our own lives, to act appropriately with the virus, right? To protect ourselves. We had to change a lot about who we are. So as we're looking at vaccines, we've vaccinated less than 1% of about 65,000 people. So tomorrow's gonna be our second round of second doses at the ICT center by the hospital. So we're trying, we're getting there, but we put a grain in the sand, like a large beach of sand, you know what I mean? So
You have to start somewhere, and you're doing the most with what you've got. But I do think from the